Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sissy Boys podcast. I am Dan Donahue.
I'm Matt LeGrand.
No, we're not doing that after your name every time.
That's kind of cute.
Wait, do it again.
I'm Matt LeGrand.
And I'm Dan Donahue. Wait, no, why did that one?
You did that to yourself.
I hate this.
And where is Cooper Lyden? Oh,
Cooper...
no. Where's Cooper? No, where's Cooper?
Yeah, that is Cooper's sound, definitely. That's Cooper. His vibe.
But that's also just the sound anytime you see a pansexual person. It just goes.
We don't know what they're into because it's everything. Cooper has COVID. I tested negative over the course of the entire week, so I'm luckily okay. And you just had it, right?
I had COVID 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. But we're here, we're back, we're one man down. You're going to have to get a little bit angrier to fill the shoes of Cooper.
Yeah, I'm going to bring out my inner bipolar. I'm just going to summon all
hey, let me tell you something, Matt. Bipolar is also outer. It's not just internal. It is very external.
That's when it's the worst. That's when it's very bad.
But you're about to head to Humboldt County, California, the Weedtopia. To do stand-up comedy.
Yeah, I'm headed to Humboldt. Y'all bitches don't even know how to spell Humboldt. So y'all better stay humble.
That's called a Humboldt brag. I don't know. No. Yeah, there it is. That's what you get for that one.
Don't even know how to stay humble. Yeah, it's like I think it's the weed capital of...
Oh, America, definitely. Yeah, there was gang wars over weed there.
Really?
Yeah.
They're just the chillest wars.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
stupid.
I mean, we'll do a bicycle buy or something.
Y'all better... Can y'all stop selling on my turf?
It's not cool. You're barefoot.
Yeah, it's not chill.
Yeah. That's cool. What kind of venue are you doing out there?
It's a comedy club. I think it holds a couple, maybe 300. It's not the stadiums you've been doing.
No. The biggest one we did was 400.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did Tempe, Arizona, which is the nicest, coolest place of all time. And then I just did Appleton, which is much smaller, but also very cool and chill.
Nice. And where was that at?
Appleton's in Wisconsin. It is 2 hours away from Milwaukee. Every time you do a place like that, you're like, oh, I hope people here will connect to my comedy. And then you get out there and it's like, oh, it's just people. It's just people are all pretty much the same. I mean, there's big differences and stuff, but when you're in a comedy club, it all kind of evens out.
Yeah. I'm trying to look up the actual number of seats at Savage Hendry. I just made up 300.
No one cares.
Oh, okay. Well,
no one cares.
It's the one comedy club there, and there's nothing else to do in that godforsaken city.
That is so sick.
So it should be pretty fun. And then I randomly, a neighbor that's super hot that I used to have sex with all the time started a weed farm there, and he's there.
Whoa. Wait, so a neighbor you had sex with all the time and it wasn't weird?
My neighbor lived around the corner from here. And no, we would just whenever it was convenient, we would have the hottest sex, and he was super cool and funny.
Was this the first time that you had hooked up with a neighbor?
No. Gay apps operate based on location.
Right.
I hooked up with another neighbor of mine frequently who is never mind. I'm not gonna say who they are. They're famous now.
Oh, that's sick.
I guess he's a really cool guy.
God damn.
Yeah, and then this dude, really talented artist, sexy as hell.
Now, so it doesn't affect you
and then about 14 very ugly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, but you don't bring those up.
No.
You play the greatest hits out here.
People should know that I will. Yeah, I've been to the bottom of the gutter.
So here's my question: when you bring other people back, are you ever worried oh, what if this guy's here and it's awkward? Or does that not even factor in? Or are you just completely laissez-faire with it? It's oh, well, whatever.
What do you mean? What if this guy's here and it's
what if you bring another guy back home and your neighbor's coming in and he's a guy that you had sex with? That's not weird.
If my neighbors see it.
Yeah, if the neighbor sees it and do you have to have a conversation about that? It just blows my mind because it's if I feel there's straight people who are poly and stuff, but I do feel in my experience and shit, that would I would be like, I could never have sex with a neighbor because of how weird it would be if things went south.
I mean, I live next door to a venue I used to produce a show at for 4 years, and we don't talk to each other.
Okay.
Like, I blocked their numbers.
Yeah, I guess that's true in
You
LA.
know,
You don't really
it's
see
just
people.
like, I don't know. It's fine. But also, like, I think I kind of, in a twisted way, I kind of like embrace the chaos of like.
You're the Joker, dude. You're the Joker of getting bussy.
Yeah, for sure.
Can I use that term? Is that okay?
The Joker of getting bussy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, can you use bussy?
Yeah.
Sure, you have a bussy.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's unused, but yeah. Well, not women do. Women use it.
You don't shit.
That's fair.
It's unused. I've
That's
never
true.
pooped.
I've never used it once.
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of like when I used to hook up all the time, there was kind of a sense in my mind where it's like, which I think like kind of it's so embarrassing, but like all comedians, it's kind of like, this might be a fun story.
Totally.
Like,
totally.
Ooh, let's see what happens.
And usually it isn't, and it wasn't worth it,
No.
and it just destroyed your mental health. That's usually what it is.
Yeah.
It's like,
or then I'm just like, oh, you're a really good, solid person. And
no, I had the same, dude. There was this woman who I couldn't have told you more. This is going to be a bad thing. And like, this is not a healthy person for me to be with. But in the back of my head, I was like, but wouldn't it be funny if I dated someone like this? And it ruined my life. It ruined my life for like a year. It was like a year-long thing that started with me being like, there's going to be a good like minute or two chunk that comes out of this.
Oh my God. I was dating this guy who was addicted to speedballs, who was in his 50s. I would watch him inject heroin into his arm, and then he would smoke meth so that he wouldn't
crazy.
So he wouldn't nod out, because like he was addicted. I can't remember what the name of the drug is. It's slipping my mind. But he had an operation on his foot that got him addicted to this opioid that has a stimulant in it, so you don't fall asleep.
Wow.
So then when he got off of it, then he was addicted to heroin. It's really tragic. But like
Sure.
he was like addicted to opioids. So
But he wasn't specifically addicted to heroin. He was specifically addicted to like heroin, but also not falling asleep.
The medication is called Dilaudid.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah. I've heard of it.
It's a very strong opioid, and it has a stimulant in it so you won't fall asleep or nod out, as they say.
Yes.
But so he would inject heroin and then smoke meth so that that would keep him at regular.
Right.
It's like I could like he didn't seem high,
Right.
Because I was dating him for 4 months before I even knew that he was doing that every day.
And now, when he was doing this, were you just like on the couch, or where did you go? Did you watch him do this?
It was so dramatic. I was 22, but I was like, he was like, I found out because one time we couldn't find his car keys, and so I was like looking all over. I opened the trash can and I looked through the trash, and there's a bag of syringes.
Oh, you could have gotten poked too.
I mean, I was already in his asshole. Like, what am I gonna get?
I guess that's true. When I was collecting garbage, a friend of mine got poked by a hypo, and he had to go to the hospital. But I guess that was because you knew where that one came from, which is good.
Yeah. Well, was it good? I don't know. It was just so dramatic.
No, it's great.
And then he like dropped his knees and he was like, I never wanted you to find out. And I was like, it's okay. I'm going to love you no matter.
Oh
like,
my
so
God.
bad. The worst part is that he was 54.
And you're 22
and
years
22.
old. That is such a nightmare. You're just straight up going off movies at that age.
Oh no! In my head, I was fully writing a screenplay, and I was like, "This is the greatest love story ever told."
Oh my
like,
God!
So dumb.
I'm getting sick thinking about how like disgusting it is to be that dude and being like, I'm gonna use my drug habit to keep a 22-year-old around.
The worst part is that he lived in Marfa, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about Marfa, Texas?
No.
Donald Judd, he was like this huge landscape artist, so he needed like acres and acres to do these huge projects. It's where Solange shoots all of her music videos, and so he bought the cheapest land in America, and it's called Marfa. and now it's this huge artist town. Like the Knowles, Beyonce's family has a museum there, and there's like these giant hotels. So there's like this like massive like wage gap where it's either like the poorest people who live in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, Texas, or like when I was there, Adam Driver was walking around.
So was this guy an artist?
He used to be a very successful art director in Los Angeles. And like I can like when I found out he was an addict, and I was like, "Is everything you just told me a lie?" But yeah, I googled him, and all of it's true. He did like a ton of really cool shit.
But at the time you were seeing him, he
was broke.
Yeah. That's the craziest thing is you see that a lot with artists where they're like, I need drugs to produce my art. And every now and again, if it's a very talented artist, you look at their stuff and you're like, you could probably get clean, but I can see why you're not, because you're scared. You have that tether where it's like, well, I want to. It's like the thing where if you're playing a good, like athletes will. This is like anecdotal, but some athletes will be like, if I have a really good game, I don't want to wash my hair or something after. It's the same thing where it's like, I want to keep the same routine. It's like if you keep the same thing going over and over again, if things are going well, so you can reproduce, which I don't think is like true. But what's really funny in LA is there's also so many bad artists. There's so many people who are bad at what they do, but they also have that mindset where they're like, well, I need to do coke every day to keep making my art. And it's like, well, your art sounds like instrumental Raffi music. It sounds like you're doing Wheels on the Bus, but instrumental with a little bit of distortion. So maybe get clean.
Yeah, your art isn't good when you're coked out. So
right.
Maybe try something else.
Well, maybe, I mean, if you get sober, maybe your art will continue to be bad, but at least you also won't be asking your parents for money every 2 weeks. And it's like, I get like the nature of addiction is very pervasive. I have so many addicts like close to me in my family, people who have died of overdose and stuff, and it's super sad. But I hate that they'll take the already like crippling physical aspects of addiction and put on top of it like, and I need this to make my art, and it's like, let's get rid of that one,
dude.
Let's get rid of it.
I remember, so I was sober I've gone sober for 2 different 9-month periods of a time and done like the 12 steps and all that stuff program. But I remember right before I got sober, I was doing coke every day, and I was like with a friend, and we were coked out, and I was like, you know what, like coke for me right now, it's like, it's not even like a drug. It is like, it's like I'm using it practically because it jumpstarts my brain.
Oh my God.
And then I'm like snorting lines, and I'm like, so that I can like write and be productive. And of course, like all I do would be like jerk off and like do not like, spiral, clean my litter box.
Right. Well, I mean,
my cat's litter box.
I mean, the Nazis also did that, so it could have gone worse. But
they were on meth.
Yeah, it was like Hitler was famously on like doctor prescribed meth, and it's like, talk about a bad artist using drugs. You know what I mean?
Oh wow, wow, wow. That's I don't think I've ever heard that connection before.
There you go, dude.
A failed artist decided that he needed to get into drugs, and then he killed 6 million Jewish people.
So it can go real sad. I mean,
go really
I'm
bad.
talking down on people in LA who just have kind of like bad SoundClouds and a Depop or whatever, but it can go way worse. We can surmise. But yeah, I think when it comes to that sort of thing, I just find that people who are artists, like they're usually creative no matter what. Like, I don't see a lot of people who are artists who are substance dependent, and if they get off, they make bad art. I just personally haven't seen. I actually see the opposite, where when people are healthy and doing their like routines and stuff, that's when things get even.
I mean, it sounds cheesy, but I believe that if everyone was able to like truly tap into who they are as an individual, then everyone is capable of making really great art, whatever medium that is. I feel like that one deserved more of a but I think a lot of people don't get before I got sober, I was like, fuck, if I get sober, I'm not going to be able to do any comedy anymore. I won't be funny. I'm only funny because I take shots of whiskey before I get on stage.
But here's the thing is, I think the artist mentality does drive some people
It perpetuates
to
that.
Yeah, it perpetuates it because it's like I'm crazy enough to think of this weird oblique thing that no one else thinks
it's
of.
like the Bukowski effect.
Right, so I'm also crazy enough to take like 8 shots, but then you combine those two when really I think they're kind of like one is not a result of the other. It's just like they're like running parallel.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And the scary question is like, if I strip all that away and it's just me, is there still something of substance there?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, which it isn't, if the answer is no, then it's like you might as well kill yourself.
I don't think so.
No, but like that's like what you think of. Before
Yeah,
you
that's
get
what you
sober. You're
think.
like, what if I didn't have this, and what if I'm truly just not funny?
Yeah, that's the stupidest thing in the world, though, because art is dumb, and what really matters is just kind of being a person in the world and having friendships and stuff. It's like I see art people
I
create.
think life is about making money, but yeah.
Yeah, no one's gonna. Look at your palace that we're in right now. You have fucking.
Yeah, the elote guy honking his horn and my cat whining.
That's nice, dude. That's called like in-home food service. That's a high.
Fuck Postmates.
It's like, you know how Tyrese got a McDonald's in his mansion?
Tyrese who?
Tyrese Gibson?
Really?
Yeah, he got a McDonald's in his mansion. That's like you, but with the elotes guy. You should have a 24/7 elotes guy in here.
Why am I being like, okay, I think I'm wrong, but is Tyrese Gibson the guy in Too Fast, Too Furious?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he also has a very good R&B career.
Really?
Oh my God,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. But is he in all the Fast movies now? Like, is he in Fast like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9?
That's a great question. I only know the Fast and Furious through Tyrese and his connection to it, so I'm not sure if he's in every movie. I just know that he's in some and he's very good.
I know his debut in them was Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yes, of course.
And then he wasn't in Tokyo Drift.
Talk about a guy with a
obviously.
body. You seen that thing?
It's been so long, but I did see it in theaters.
Dude, so cut. I don't know what he's on because it like your mind goes to steroids, but I'll bet he is on some like
Okay, he's in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Whoa, I'll bet he's on some like
And they get paid so much money.
yeah, dude. I wonder if he's on some drugs that just makes you cut because he's just so fucking cut.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're like that fucking rich that you can have a McDonald's in your house,
Right.
You're probably balancing it out with some drug.
And
that
if you're
makes you
eating that much
insane.
McDonald's and you're still cut.
Yeah. Okay, that's a paradox.
Yeah.
He's in the best shape of any human being, and he has a McDonald's in his house. Does that mean there's just a worker there 24/7 for minimum wage, just like waiting to make him McNuggets?
I don't know.
Also, like how much of the, you know what I mean? Like they're not gonna like make it from scratch, are they?
Damn, I hope I didn't completely make that up.
I hope you did. I hope Vin Diesel has a Chick-fil-A in his house. Because I'm trying to go to that shit.
No, Tyrese doesn't have McDonald's in his house. Someone has a McDonald's in their house.
Yeah, his name is Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He's slightly richer. What's his name? Dwayne The Rock Johnson won't sign on for the new Fast movie. And Vin Diesel's like pissed at him, and he's like, "We're family. You need to do the last one." But Vin Diesel I know someone who works on those movies, and he said The Rock is the kindest person on earth, and Vin Diesel is like the biggest, dumbest piece of shit.
Is that true?
Yeah, he's insufferable, and everyone hates working
But he
with
sings
him.
like an angel.
He sings like an angel. He fucks like the devil. But my friend said every day before they would start shooting, everyone's there and they're ready to go, and Vin Diesel's not there. They said every single day, and they'd be like, "Where's Vin?" And then the director would have to go to his trailer, and Vin Diesel would be like, I'm just like not really sure about this line. Like I'm trying to figure out how to deliver it. Like he thinks these are like Oscar-winning movies.
Yeah, he's
And
like,
so
I don't
the
know if
director has to convince him that like the lines that they wrote are good enough for him to do. And then after 2 hours, then they'll coerce him to come out. So like every day it's just like held up by hours because his ego.
Every guy like that, I'm always like, I bet he wrote his own movie. And even though he's incredibly powerful in Hollywood, I'll bet it's just unmade.
Right. His movie was called Baby Geniuses 2. Yeah.
That's really.
And it was snubbed by the Golden Globes.
Oh, dude, when is Vin gonna get his moment to shine? That's my big question. I will say Triple X was awesome.
I only watched the second one with Ice Cube.
No, the first one, Triple X. So Triple X is this movie where an executive who had just been doing probably the same concoction that Matt's ex-boyfriend was doing for like 8 days straight. And then they wrote a script where they were just like, I want 1,000 jet skis in a movie. They were just like, I want the motocross Travis Pastrana people to all be represented in film. But also there's Russians. Like, that's the whole idea of the movie. It's so good. And when you watch it,
like, what if Shaun White could fly a helicopter while snowboarding and he was hot?
If you watch it as like a 12-year-old, you're literally like, there is nothing that will ever be cooler than this. I want to be Vin Diesel. That's how powerful movies are and how they can affect children. Is when I watched that, I was like, I have to be Vin Diesel. I need a big fur coat and a woman who probably like looks so deadpan she's almost a mannequin. That's what I need.
Right. Like, I would, God forbid, she outshined Vin Diesel's dazzling personality.
It's like how they put short people in Tom Cruise movies. They just have to put like that woman next to Vin Diesel to make it look like he can act.
Oh, they need like a literal mannequin so that it looks like he has a personality. Like, he turns and the woman's just like frozen. He's like, "That's right, baby."
So he can.
And you're like, "Damn, that guy has charisma."
Not to get too off topic, but I have to say this opinion that I have had. I think Tom Cruise is so disrespected in terms of how good of an actual real actor he is, because I think the Mission Impossible's kind of ruined his credit as like an actor. He's seen as more of like a movie star, sort of next to like a not Tom Hanks, because Tom Hanks is a pretty good actor, but like a Bruce Willis or whatever.
Tom Hanks has won Best Actor twice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like Bruce Willis of sorts. But dude, he's top 3 actors of all time. And
who are the other two? I
can't really say, but you could pretty much put any actor in front of me, and I'll make an argument for Tom Cruise. Because let me tell you this: have you ever seen Magnolia?
Dude, I was just gonna say I'm on board with you.
Yeah,
Magnolia. I'm pretty sure he was nominated for an Oscar for that movie.
Magnolia. He is up next to Philip Seymour Hoffman, and you could make that movie just Tom Cruise's scenes, and it would be still an incredible film. It would be a great 30-minute film.
He is able to tap in fully into that Christian Bale American Psycho personality.
Exactly, but at a whim. And he's not just doing that the whole movie. He does that, and then he can break down and completely go the other way, where he's like totally a broken shell of a human being, and it's so believable on both ends of the spectrum.
Yes.
Also, when he does shirtless scenes, he requests to have an ice bath on set that he can jump into because he thinks it tightens him up.
Oh, I love that.
I don't know if that's true at all, but the fact that he believes it makes me really happy.
And he requests that everyone working on set be under 4 feet tall.
Well, I don't know if he requests that, but I'm sure his management does.
So he's been nominated for 3 Oscars, and
not enough.
What I will say is people don't I would say people today don't realize that he's like a good actor because he hasn't done a serious movie since the 90s.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, people kind of forget, but he's carrying the Mission Impossible franchise.
It's like when Robert Schultz posted about casting Lord of the Rings and was like, they found an unknown actor named Elijah Wood to play Frodo Baggins. And right. I was like, I don't even know if you know this, but I was like, Elijah Wood was super fucking famous before he was in Lord of the Rings.
I didn't know that.
He was in Flipper, and he was in North, which was with like Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Dude, Flipper, that's a Kingmaker movie.
Right it's just he was like a Shia LaBeouf, like he was like a child star that was like in everything.
Interesting.
So like when he got cast, he was like one of the bigger known people.
Interesting.
But like Gen Z, which I guess you and Robert maybe fall into.
No, we're both like the tail end of millennial.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you this question: if you had a shirtless scene in a movie, what would you do like the day leading up to it?
The day leading up?
Yeah.
Dude, this is so weird, but for some reason whenever I have like a large meal, I look better.
No, that can happen. Yeah,
Isn't that
because
bizarre?
well, it depends. Like that's the idea of a cheat day is when you really carb up, it can kind of temporarily make you look much bigger.
Okay.
I don't know, that also may be anecdotal, but that's the idea behind it, and something I've heard from a lot of people who are into bodybuilding is like, oh yeah, the cheat day is when I feel the most swole.
Yes, I feel that way too. Like if I have if I'm working out a bunch and then I have McDonald's, I feel like I look best.
That's so
after
fun.
McDonald's.
You and Tom Cruise have a shirtless scene next to each other. Tom's in the ice thing. You're eating fucking barbecue.
We're both at Tyrese Gibson's mansion ordering McDonald's.
I can't believe, I don't know where I heard that.
Whatever.
That's so embarrassing.
I wish you didn't fact check it because everyone would have just believed you.
No, everyone got mad at me.
Yeah. Did you know Sofia Vergara has an Olive Garden in her bathroom?
That's a great place to put an Olive Garden.
Right next to her bathtub.
That's right where you need it next to the toilet.
More breadsticks. But I would do 100 push-ups and
Eating a cheesecake.
I would do 100 push-ups each day. I mean, it's like you have one day to do it. It's like whatever.
The people listening might not know this. My day job is being a personal trainer, and I look at your body and I go, I could make you a statue.
Shut up.
You have wide set shoulders. You have big hands, big wrists. You have all the makings of someone I could really pack some muscle onto.
This is why gay men are obsessed with you.
Oh, because I talk like this.
Yeah.
Well, I break.
What are these things on my neck? Right.
Those are traps.
Traps. I've been told, I've never touched them, but I've been told I have like naturally
good traps. You do. You have a nice slope.
I
to
sound
the
like
shoulder.
a giant asshole when I say this, but like I have like a athletic build.
No, you have the kind of body.
Bad at sports.
You have the kind of body that like a power, or not a power lifter, but a like Arnold Schwarzenegger coach type would look at and be like, I could make this into a piece of art.
Wow, damn, I feel so good.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle who, wow, R.I.P. He just died of COVID a couple weeks ago.
Sad.
Unvaccinated.
Sorry, buddy.
It's okay. Anyways, my uncle who passed away, he was like a very like talented track star. And whenever I would visit him, he would always like grab my legs and be like, "We got to get you running. Like you got this." Like,
yes.
But he worked on these radiation factories, and he got like really bad like arthritis, and like I know, seriously, it ruined his life when he was like 22.
Yeah,
because they had no like moderation with radiation back then.
Isn't that so funny? Oh, there's so many like older people that I know, like my grandparents and their friends and stuff, and they just have these stories of being maimed mortally because like medicine, especially like physical therapy, was way worse back then than it is now. It's like my grandpa fell off a ladder and didn't like, it wasn't a horrendous injury, but it did force him to never run again. And that shit, I feel like now we have enough stuff physical therapy wise where if you're at a certain station in life and you can afford it, that wouldn't have been the case.
That's wild.
Everyone's grandparents, they have at least one grandparent who is like mortally maimed and then tells the story over tea like it's nothing. Like they're just talking about bridge.
Yeah. My grandfather had both of his legs amputated from type 2 diabetes.
Damn.
He would not stop drinking alcohol.
Oh, that'll do it.
And like literally, how addicted do you have to be with alcohol where the doctor's like, hey, if you continue to drink, I'm going to have to cut off both of your legs. And you're like, I'm going to keep doing it.
Do I need my legs? You're like, how often do I use them? Well, to walk to the bar.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
But going full circle, it's like that's how an addict's mind can work, and it's not their fault. It's just like this. It's so much better to think of addiction as this like other thing, like this thing that kind of lives inside of someone.
Oh yeah, like
it makes way more sense.
It's like another person, another being.
And that's not to say they don't have to do self-work to get rid of it, but it's the same thing as like having a virus where it's like, yeah, you have to do stuff to get healthier if you have a virus, but also no one looks at someone with a virus and are like, you are COVID. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Although that's what they did do with AIDS, I think.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And that's whatever. But like, there's been so much work around like the stigma. Ever since Tom Hanks won Best Actor for Philadelphia, it's been on an upswing.
It's
since
so
then.
crazy how it takes one straight dude and then everybody's like, well, hey, let's let bygones be bygones. Sorry we ignored you guys for 28 years.
You're like, you know what? Tom Hanks was right. These people are human.
Damn, Denzel did see the light in that one. You know what? We're coming around. Because I'm like Denzel. That literally is, I mean, people are so kind of like simple and flawed, me included. I mean, I'm people too. But you see that movie and you see Denzel and you're like, damn, Denzel is cool and he came around. So I'm going to come around too. I am Denzel.
Oh, totally. I mean, and that's what's. Have you seen the movie The Lost Daughter?
No.
Olivia Colman, you know who that is?
No.
Did you watch The Favorite?
No. I don't watch anything. I don't have I watch anything that like I watch anything my friends or significant other is watching.
It's on Netflix. This is like more like I feel like every gay person will watch this movie because we're obsessed with Olivia Colman.
Oh, that's cool.
But she won Best Actress for The Favorite a couple years ago. That movie with Emma Stone, and she.
But she's straight.
She's straight, but like gay men love like we love a badass queen.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah. Anyways, this movie is just about a woman who does not want to be a mother, and it's not in a funny Louis C.K. way where it's like my kids, am I right? Where it's like, oh, I wish I could drop them off and never pick them up.
Yeah.
It's like a very visceral like this. You see how fucking trapped this woman is, and it's like something that you're never allowed to. It's like the cardinals. Like you're not allowed to say that as a mother. Like,
right.
I regret having children because I hate that I have to be with them all the time.
Oh, I mean, it's such
a fucking brutal like whatever. She's a powerhouse performer, and you're like. When I watched the movie, I was just like, wow, this is like actually a very important movie because I can't imagine how many women feel this way and they're just not allowed to say that. And it has nothing to do with their children. Like they do have a deep love for them, but they're like, fuck, I didn't know that there were other options in my life. And now this is what I have to do. And I hate it.
People wonder why there are so many bad parents. Like people are like, how
being a parent
is so tough. Yeah.
I don't even want a dog.
Yeah, I mean, and you choose. It's like it's amazing that there are good parents. It's amazing that there are people who are good at that job who make it work.
Oh my god, I hated my dad for the longest time, and then when I became an adult, and I was like, oh, your dad got his legs cut off from drinking too much alcohol.
Right,
you did a pretty good job.
You get to not come to a sports game or two.
I'm like, oh, you did really well.
Yeah. Yeah, you did well by me telling.
And his father probably did way worse things.
Yeah, you did well by when I said, like, when you came out of the closet, and he was like, all right, that's good enough.
Oh, when I came out, my dad word for word said, Matt, do you think God intended poop to be on your ding dong?
He didn't say that.
Yeah.
Really?
Isn't that so funny?
Damn.
It's almost like if I read that in a script, I'd be like, that's too dumb.
Yeah, that's like an Adam Sandler. If Adam Sandler had a movie about
be on your ding dong.
If Adam Sandler had a movie about coming out, that's what it would be.
Yeah. Which is so funny. My dad always brings up that argument. Like when I went to see him over Christmas break, he was like, Matt, my friend's son is gay. He's 22, and now he has a colostomy bag. And I was just, it's like, wow, it sounds like he is not doing well.
As though the entire genre of country music wasn't created to say how bad straight sex can go.
Well, also, it's just this like implication that I'm like, have you never seen porn before? Because like gay people didn't invent anal sex.
Right.
Like straight people are obsessed with anal sex.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like the pinnacle of sex for some reason.
Yeah.
Or I mean, it's glorified by porn.
Well, it's this territorialism that kind of pervades sexuality for certain people. I do wonder if it's like a specifically American thing or if it's kind of like a thing that exists in everyone's head. But it's this thing where I don't even think that people necessarily, straight couples, find anal sex to be more enjoyable than vaginal sex. But I think a lot of people's minds, maybe both men and women, see it as like, well, my ass is like an unconquered territory or something that is rarely conquered. It's like being on the moon, where it's like, I don't like this as much, but it shows that you are a dominant force in that you stuck a flag in this like territory.
Yes, you're moon landing on my hole.
I've heard someone propose the idea that that's why, like, because at a certain point, the increased size of a penis is not a positive and it's a negative, especially like.
I was just talking about this last night.
But it's been proposed to me. I think this is a really interesting idea because I think that the idea where it's like I need a giant fucking huge cock is this idea of like dominance kind of. And I think it may be a territory thing where it's like if someone has a huge dick and they get further into the like a woman's vagina, it's conquering more territory, which is why that idea is so stupid. That like
that's
you
so
need a
interesting,
giant dick.
But it makes sense in such a basic level.
Like straight guys will get upset when they hear their girlfriend has been with a guy with a huge dick, and it has nothing to do with the amount of pleasure she felt with that guy because it's. If a woman was like, I was with a guy with a huge dick and it didn't feel good, a lot of straight guys would still feel bad. And I think it's because like they know their dick could never get into the level of territory that guy's did.
I doubt like many people think about that like how that is affecting you subconsciously.
Well, what's funny about that is it's also a dumb male way to think about sex. It has nothing to do with the woman's pleasure. It has everything to do with the guy's territory, and it's kind of seeing a vagina as territory, which does track when you see the way that most people think about sex.
Well, and yes, I would say that's the popularity of anal sex is that it's the most like degrading way to treat. Like
essentially, yeah.
It comes from like I mean, I know girls who actually really do enjoy it. But
total. Oh, I'm not saying people don't enjoy it, but I'm saying there's also another. I'm not saying that there aren't women who don't enjoy a giant dick. Like that exists for sure. There's like a ton of that, but there can be two things that are true at the same time.
Yeah, and I would say that for a lot of guys, it's because on like a subconscious level, society hates women.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, oh, how can we destroy their bodies?
Yeah, the level of degradation is like what is seen as the highest level of sex.
I was surprised that some of my girlfriends do enjoy anal because I was under the belief that no woman really did because they don't have a prostate. Men have a prostate men have like a vagina in their butts.
Right.
That you can touch and it like will make you orgasm in a different way.
Do you think if someone hit that on your dad, he would change his mind?
Should I call him?
You should. You should ask. Are he and your mom still together?
Yeah. No.
If your mom like one night kind of got a crazy hair and she was
oh my god, don't.
Went right up there. Went right up there.
If she did that to my dad.
Yeah.
I just
he would make a noise.
I think it goes against. I don't even know what. I think he would have a mental breakdown because everything that he like, the pillars would start falling.
Totally.
And it's like he's in his late. He's like He's like mid-60s. Like it's like he would have to. It's too late. He can't change his like ideologies.
It's so funny how fragile it all is.
Oh, when my dad and I, every single time I go home, he has this final appeal where he's like, Matt, Jesus is God, and if you don't accept him, you're gonna go to hell. Like I just like need you to know that. And I'm like, Dad, I went to the #1 Bible college in the world, and I have read the Bible. What you know what I mean? Right. It's just like I have a minor in Bible and blah blah blah. But and when we break down each other's ideologies and like we get to the base of it, and I'll often put him in a corner where like he's left with no choice but to be like, oh. Perhaps I don't like I always get him to a place where I'm like, can you admit that like there is no way for you to be positive that what you believe is true, but you're choosing to believe it and that's okay.
Right.
But
people don't want to think that because I think that
he's incapable. I see him spinning out.
Because at a level, bigotry is a feeling of power. Like bigotry is a feeling of I am better than you, I am superior to you, and a lot of people who don't do a lot of self-reflection love that feeling and
I don't think it is coming from a malicious place at all.
No, but it comes from a natural place of like people want to assert power if they feel powerless, and if they can get like a prescription of bigotry, which is what some like fundamentalist religions give to people, they go, you can feel superior to other people, and we are telling you it is okay to feel superior. It's a huge power trip, and I think power is like the most addicting thing that a person can experience.
Yes. I often have this conversation with my dad where as Christians, you're supposed to live by faith. Like you take every day just being like, where I'm waiting for God to lead me, whatever. So I feel like since I left the church that I'm more like Christ-like, if you will, because I don't know what's coming and I have to like treat every day like it's my last day, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, what's going to come? If you have decided I know who God is, I know what happens after I die, then you've created this tiny box where you're like, you just made yourself God.
Totally.
You just said, I know what happens. I know what's right. I know what's wrong. So then you're God.
Totally.
Like, and then you like have this tiny little box. And like, I would argue that because I don't know what happens when I die, and like every day is like a circumstantial, like, being the best version of yourself you can be, love others. Like those are like kind of like the golden rules.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like I can't say much else to be like definite or like, dogmatic.
Well, I mean, and you live a more interesting life that people want to hear about if you are more open to things like that. That's why I go back.
It's kind of sad because you stop learning.
Yeah,
you know everything, and it's like this weird superiority complex. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I go back to the idea of like your father having a existential crisis of feeling pleasure from someone touching his ass, and it's like that's such a fragile. She came into the room, and I knew there was something different in her eyes. It's just this funny thing where it's both like assertive and not passive, but like weak and easily dominated at the same time. Like that's what that kind of mindset gives to me, where it's like, I'm not the toughest guy in the world, certainly, but yeah, I can survive a finger to the ass, and that's fine with me.
Yeah, and also you're open to new experiences.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it doesn't feel weird when that happens. Like,
no,
I definitely have a thing where whenever like my girlfriend goes down there is a thing in my head where it's like, man, I wonder if like the guys that I worked at the DPW would think if I did this. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's the episode of The Sopranos. Do you ever watch The Sopranos?
No.
In season 1, a woman tells her girlfriends that that this dude that she's seeing has been eating her out.
Oh, I did. My friends told me about that when I watched the episodes because it was so funny.
He's eating out her vagina.
Yeah,
it's not even her ass.
No,
and then
he's not even being cool.
No, he's just being like doing like the bare minimum.
He's doing standard out the box procedures.
And his boyfriend, his buddies find out about it, and they're like, his boy pals. They find out about it, and they're hazing him. Like they're like, oh, someone likes to go down to the fish tank and eat seafood or whatever. And it's like, today, if you don't like, everyone like. DJ Khaled is a huge piece of shit because he openly talks about how he would never go down on his wife, and women hate him.
I mean, it's just been proven time and time again that that's the most effective way to make most women come.
Right. So it's like, oh, you don't like women. And like back then in that like macho Italian culture, they're like, yes, we do hate women.
It also feels cool to eat pussy. Like
I don't. Does it?
It's probably the similar for you going down on a guy, but it's like usually when you're fucking, even if the other person is feeling really good, you're like attached to the situation in a way where you can't really appreciate it. But when you're eating pussy, there's like this level of detachment where you're not getting like direct stimulation, so you're just kind of like watching that person experience pleasure, and there's something nice about that.
Yeah, and you have ultimate control in that moment.
Totally.
And it's kind of fun to see. What is exciting about that kind of stuff is like seeing someone squirm and like you're getting to see intimate moments of them that no one else gets to see.
Dude, we're Dan Savage right now. Dude, we're savage mode right now.
Yeah, this is a sex therapy podcast where we endorse eating out women and men's buttholes.
Send in your questions.
But that, like, I think that is what is exciting. It's like, oh my God, I get to see this person out of control.
Right, yeah.
They're very vulnerable right now.
Definitely.
If I pulled a knife out.
Well, I feel like if you pulled a knife out at any point, you're going, oh, now if I pulled a knife out, they would be scared.
Well, because then instead of just defending themselves, they're like, oh, I got to grab my pants.
Yeah, if you pull a knife out when you're just fucking a person, they'll go, oh, Matt, stop.
What is something straight that you did this week?
Oh, that's a really great question.
Do you want me to start?
No, yeah, you go. Yeah, do you have one?
Do you have to think of something?
I'll have to think of something.
Okay, well, something straight you didn't do this week was watch The Sopranos.
Yeah, that's true.
So the dude that I'm dating, we watched porn together last week, and it was like pretty. Like he mentioned to me, I was like, "Oh, what'd you do like the other night?" And he was like, like I went to the gym, blah blah blah, made myself a nice dinner, and then he's like, "Then I watched porn, and I went to bed," and then I was like, I want to know what he watched. That's
Definitely
kind of hot. And
so, could you ask him to send it to you?
I was with him on the couch, and I was like,
"Oh,
show me what you watched."
That's great." I was thinking about sending my girlfriend this video that I saw.
Hentai
bukkake, because I was like, she'll love this. No, it was like a three-way, but they were kind of. It was kind of like in the way that she liked, or like that I feel like she liked. So I was like, I wonder how she'll feel about this.
It's interesting, and it's like it's vulnerable. Like I haven't even like shown. Like he's not ready for what I'm into. But also I watch a lot of straight porn.
Sure,
which is a whole nother conversation.
That's cool.
But he showed me the porn that he was watching, and it was like pretty hot, but also like the guys, it was kind of like a truck stop situation, and the guys like
Wait, hold up. You think that I totally know what you mean when you say kind of a truck stop situation?
Oh, I mean like it's two guys pretending like they're straight even though they're both gay, and it's like, hey, I saw you in your truck, and the other guy's like, I saw you in your truck, and then he's like, okay, well.
Oh, right, a truck stop situation. How could I have not known?
It's like a gay fantasy, I guess, where it's like that you would bump into another guy and you both pretend to be straight, but they have girlfriends at home. But obviously the actors are both actually just gay.
Sure.
But anyways, I like naked bodies. These guys were like clothed but fucking each other.
Yeah, I don't like that either. That's what I don't like about the Owen Gray videos. I don't know if you've seen him. He's like the tattoo guy. He has like a big tattoo on his legs. And all my friends send him the shit, and it's like, all these videos are so sick. Like, you have to watch.
Owen Gray?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of him.
And I haven't even like gone through the video because it's so rare that they both take all their clothes off, and that pisses me off.
They both don't take their clothes off?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I hate that.
Yeah. But anyway, you go, please.
Well, I guess that is enough, but like the funny part of the story is I went to the bathroom, and then when I came back out, he on the laptop, it's not funny, but like on the laptop was this like massive old dude, like 70 years old, mouth fucking this like 18-year-old twink.
Oof.
And I was just like I was like, it's a weird moment where you're like, oh, this is hot, and like I'm like pretending to, and he's like jerking off to it, and I was just like, oh my God.
Interesting.
And then he looks me in the eye and he goes, I'm kidding.
That's so funny. I love this dude. This dude's funny.
It killed me, and he was like, oh my God, your face, like you were trying to pretend like you were into it.
Funny.
It was just like this kid being massacred, and like
don't say massacred.
Yeah, they pulled out a knife. Whatever. It was very funny, and I was just like, oh my God. Like my mind was racing where I was like, Jesus, what have I gotten into?
So funny. I have a similar one. I subscribe to a woman's OnlyFans. I feel like that's pretty straight.
Does your girlfriend know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does your girlfriend watch porn?
From time to time, not a lot,
Okay.
I don't think. But I was just like, it feels good to support someone.
Yeah, okay,
I'm in comedy.
It's a female-owned business.
Female-owned business. She's seeing, the platform's seeing money, which is, think of that what you will. But it was nice to, because I feel like, dude, I had a conversation I don't think he would mind, but I was talking to Lou Hinkle, and he's this guy from Philly. He's one of the funniest people I've ever seen on stage. He is incredibly unique and funny. But we were talking about porn, and he was like, yeah, I could never subscribe to a woman's OnlyFans because it feels dirty. And I was like, or it feels kind of perverted was his point. And I was like, I feel it's more perverted to kind of steal it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more peeping Tom, where it's more of a transaction. If you're like, oh, I'll pay for this.
Well, it's like I sound like a libtard, but it's like such embedded misogyny that like you're like, I would rather not support a woman so that I don't feel bad for women.
So nuts, dude. Dude, we're the most progressive podcast.
Wait, so what was the straight thing that you did?
That it was subscribe to the woman's OnlyFans.
Oh, you just did that this week.
I did that this week.
Can I know her name? It's okay. You can text it to me later.
Yeah, I'll text you.
Does she have sex on her OnlyFans?
Yes.
With women?
Both
women?
And yeah, both women in the world. There's only 2 women to me, and that's Margaret Cho and Kathy Bates.
Laverne Cox.
Yeah. But
Margaret Cho and Kathy Bates.
Those are the only 2 women. No, yeah, both men and women.
Okay, good. Well, Cooper did something very pan. He got Omicron. Which is the most pan thing.
That's the most pan.
Omicron doesn't discriminate.
It's
neither
like,
does Cooper Lyden.
It's like I don't know if I want to be COVID. I don't know if I want to be.
Am I just a cough?
Yeah. Am I just a
little cough?
Yeah.
Or am I COVID?
So funny. Well, thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the YouTube. It's super, super helpful to us, and it will help the podcast keep going if you subscribe to the YouTube or the podcast.
Yeah,
app
like and subscribe.
You know what? I'll say this on here. If you subscribe to the YouTube and take a screenshot of it and DM it to me at NotBadDan, I will make you a little custom video thanking you.
So cute.
While I'm washing dishes, I'll make you a little custom video. You can put like, oh, say happy birthday, Jeff, or whatever, and I'll do that.
Yeah, and I will support him doing that.
Great.
Love you all. Bye.
Bye. Great. I think that was really great.
Yeah, no, that was fun.
Look at the fucking baby.
I love that, like,